Well, rain and a myriad of flood watches, warnings, and advisories continue across southeast Texas. The latest flood warning, and this just came out, is for folks below Lake Conroe on the West Fork of the San Jacinto River. They expect this to go into major lowland flooding, cresting tomorrow at above 118 feet. That will cause major lowland flooding across the upper West Fork of the San Jacinto watershed. And in particular, right now, evacuations are underway for McDade Estates right here on FM 2854. That's at Steve Owens Road. Evacuations underway as high water is cutting off folks from getting in and out of that neighborhood. However, as rain continues this afternoon and another round tonight, Pat Kavlin, we may see these flooding situations in many spots become even more aggravated.
Yeah, I think everybody just wants to know, when is this rain going to end? You can see a lot of rain right now on radar as we take a live look. 3 o'clock. You can see a lot of the yellow and the orange here coming into the city of Houston, which has been mainly dry through the course of the day. That's now overspreading the area. On the wider shot, looking north and west, you can see tons of rain still coming down in areas that really haven't got much of a break in the last 48 hours. Places from Brenham up towards Navasota, getting into Huntsville. Farther south and west of that, radar has filled in here as well. Places like Garwood to El Campo, getting into Needville, Richmond, Sugar Land, and Galveston, who hasn't seen a ton of rain, also now starting to get in on this. East side of town, the radar's filled in as well. Pretty much everyone across southeast Texas now seeing a ton of rain moving across the area. Still focused north and west, but I do think that focus will move down towards the city and the coast as we go through the next few hours. By this evening, there are indications around 8, 9, 10 o'clock that this tapers to showers before our final round comes in overnight. That could feature a strong storm at the coast. Good news, though, after that it's gone. Chief Meteorologist David Paul has an update on this coming up on digital right now, and we will be back with updates coming up at 4 o'clock on the 411.
So people were posting their own reactions to the snubs. Take a look.
In the moment where I'm painting Barbie,
threat continues at least through tonight, with another round of rain expected to come through tonight. Flash flood watch for all of southeast Texas and a myriad of warnings going right now. We could easily see an additional 2 to 4 inches of rain across many parts of the area. Some parts of the area have already had upwards of 15 inches of rain. That's out near the Brenham area, where in Washington County, right here, northern Austin County, Grimes County, that's where the worst of the rainfall has been so far. And you are under this patchwork of flash flood warnings, which will continue for the next, well, overnight until that rain finally ends and we finally get some of this high water here receding. This is going to put a tremendous amount of water into several of our major watersheds. That is the Brazos River right there, so you can expect rises on the Brazos River. Lowland flooding likely in many spots downstream over the coming days. Colorado River is where you can see multiple flood warnings along the Colorado. That watershed below 59 will continue to rise as that water moves down over the coming couple of days with all the rain to your north and west. Also, as we mentioned just a moment ago, San Jacinto River, West Fork below Lake Conroe, new flood warning there. I'll take you there in just a moment. And then on the Trinity River, you know, we continue to see high water feeding in here, but no significant flooding at the moment in Liberty and Liberty County along the Trinity. You just haven't had the heavy rain totals that others have had. You can see widespread rain. None of it is severe. At the moment, the lightning has settled down, so most of this is moderate rain, but widespread moderate rain over saturated ground is making travel across Harris County and southeast Texas here just a mess this afternoon. Still have a flood warning all the way through midnight tonight for Montgomery, Polk, and Walker and Washington counties. Again, that for the just to the north and west of the immediate Houston area, where so far all of our bayous have been behaving themselves for the most part. We'll take a close look at our bayous in Harris County here in just a moment. You can see flood warning continues for a large part of the river here that heads down all the way to the coast from all the heavy rain. At the moment, no flood warning for the Colorado through Bay City, but you can see you're getting a heavy thunderstorm up through Bay City right now. As we look at all the weather watches and the gauges across our flood network from the Harris County Flood Control District, almost all of them across Harris County are in the green. They're in the good range, which is good. We don't have any imminent flooding across most of the Houston area. There are a couple of high water spots in here that we will go over. But the latest flood warning, the one that just came out moments ago, is this green box right here, and you can see flowing right through it. That's the West Fork of the San Jacinto below Lake Conroe. There's the Lake Conroe Dam. There's Lake Conroe. And this they've had to let a tremendous amount of water out of Lake Conroe because it's been filling up because of water up above Lake Conroe in the watershed there. So they're releasing water into the West Fork of the San Jacinto. That, combined with all the tributaries of the West Fork of the San Jacinto feeding more water into it, will cause it to rise. And so a flood warning in effect. This is through Sunday, but the river is expected to crest tomorrow evening at above 18 feet. That is going to cause major lowland flooding. So a lot of roads are going to cut off folks from neighborhoods and businesses, and any type of on-road, on-ramp and exit ramp to 45 here could be inundated as well. A neighborhood that they are evacuating right now because at the moment it appears high water is cutting off people from going in and out of McDade Estates. This is below Lake Conroe on the West Fork watershed, West Fork of the San Jacinto at FM 2854 and Steve Owens Road. Evacuations there are underway because the neighborhood is being cut off from high water and the roads just can't be able to get in and out. And those roads may have them cut off for several days. And without supplies, clearly that would be an emergency situation. It's interesting. We've got water that is spilling over the Lake Houston Dam. So it's come up and coming over the dam at Lake Houston. It's designed to do that. So they've got a flood warning there for everybody just below Lake Houston. But it's interesting, further down at the moment, all the gauges in the green were flooding unlikely. So they're able to handle that for the moment further downstream from Lake Houston. Flooding possible here in the at the yellow box. So here's the West Fork of the San Jacinto coming in. This is Spring Creek. This is Cypress Creek. So at the confluence here of the West Fork of the San Jacinto where they all feed in, we have high water here. At the moment, it's lowland flooding, like the roads underneath 59 may be cut off from high water. We're not seeing structure flooding here. And at the moment, it's flooding possible. So it hasn't come out of its banks at the moment, but there are ongoing updates, and we may see this come up and out of its banks in the coming days and affect any roads, low-lying roads here along the river will be impacted from low-lying flooding there over the coming days on the San Jacinto River. That's at 59. Other spots we're keeping an eye out. Caney Creek at FM 2090 is up and out of its banks. So the Caney Creek area, eastern Montgomery County, you're seeing high water in some spots as well. So FM Road 2090 being impacted there. And just a little bit bigger picture. There's Lake Conroe. There's the West Fork of the San Jacinto. Then you've got the New Caney area impacted as well with high water spots for low-lying areas. That flood warning there for Caney Creek in effect until 9 p.m. Friday. So the creek is not yet finished rising there. Further out to our north and west, so again, this is the northwest corner of Harris County. There's Tomball. Here's the 99 connector. And several of the creeks here in Montgomery County are up and out of their bank. Mill Creek at FM 1486 is out of its banks. 3 Mile Creek at Joseph Road out of its banks. Walnut Creek as well. And all of these creeks, the water in this feeds into Spring Creek and the West Fork of the San Jacinto. So that's why I think we may continue to see rises on the rivers over the next several days. Mound Creek, this is in Waller County at FM 362, is also out of its banks. So low-lying roads near these creeks and streams are going to be inundated and be very dangerous to travel. You see high water in front of you, don't go into it. Turn around, don't drown. At the very least, save your car from a major repair bill. Western Harris County, so Langham Creek is high. It's not out of its banks yet, but we're monitoring that. That's at Clay. And then Maid Creek, Greenhouse Road, this one almost always floods. It's in a flood zone there. You got some soccer fields and whatnot there, but Greenhouse Road quite often will become inundated when this comes out of its bank. So we're monitoring that. It's very close to putting water up on Greenhouse Road as well. Now this all feeds into the Addicks Reservoir. If you remember back during Harvey, that was a big issue. We were watching the Addicks Reservoir, and so far that is not showing any type of an issue there. The Addicks and Barker reservoirs are doing fine. Buffalo Bayou below Addicks and Barker are doing just fine. Again, there's the top of the spillway, the Lake Houston Dam with water spilling over it, but no flooding below Lake Houston. Across the rest of Harris County, you know, this is great news for Harris County. We have avoided here in Houston proper the heavy rains. So 99% of our creeks and streams here are doing just fine, which means we could take a couple of more inches of rain here without having any major flooding on our bayous and creeks in Harris County. And that looks like that's what's going to play out tonight. Again, this is information from the Harris County Flood Control District. Let's take a look at Future Track and how this is going to play out as we head through the evening and overnight tonight. Rain continues through 6 p.m. Most of this is light to moderate. So I don't think it's going to cause any new flash flooding, but every drop that falls now goes into all our creeks and streams and rises on them will be aggravated by any more new rain. So that's light to moderate rain through 6 p.m. Then it looks like we're going to catch a break. In fact, let me step out of the way. You can see we'll be in between systems. Heavy rain develops Beaumont, Lake Charles at 10:30 tonight. We're getting a break, but out west, here comes our next system, which pushes a line of rain and maybe some strong thunderstorms through here around 2:30 in the morning. The thing about this is forecast to be moving very quickly. So although it may put through an inch or two of rain in some spots, it will move quickly. It's not forecast to sit on us, and that should race off into Louisiana before sunrise. So after the 5:36 a.m. we clear, and by noon tomorrow, some sun coming out. Thank goodness we'll be getting a break from what has been a very, very wet several days. How much additional rain we head through Thursday morning at 10 a.m., the computer suggesting not a whole lot, although I do think as that next line comes through, we could see an additional inch or so of rain across the area. So rain chances continue very high today. Thursday, after the overnight rain, I think we'll see things improving rapidly. Friday, we see a little bit of sun. The weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we finally get a chance to dry out. So that is where we stand with rain continuing, and now more and more of these river flood warnings, especially for the West Fork of the San Jacinto below Lake Conroe. We will have another complete update on the TV side at KHOU 11 News at 4 o'clock. All the pictures coming out of the West Fork of the San Jacinto, all the flooded spots across the area. On the 411, KHOU 11 News at 4 o'clock. We'll see you then for our next live update.